Welcome, everyone, to the latest edition of Hammer Time, the world's exclusive show about the Pittsburgh Maulers. Tough week this past week as the Maulers got shut out by the Boats, and we're on to Philly. The last 4 weeks, Philly, Michigan, Houston, and New Jersey. Critical. Maulers control their own destiny, and it starts this week. But let's talk about what happened last week first. So, 22-0. Real tough game. You give up the kick six, 109 yards. That's a touchdown. You take that away. That's 15-0. The defense plays solid. The offense can't do anything. Both quarterbacks played, Morgan and Williams, and they couldn't do anything. So just a tough one. You kind of picked up that vibe by the second quarter that uh, Memphis is here to play. Memphis is pretty good. People forget because they lost 42-2 to the Stallions in week 2, and then that became a stigmatism. Memphis is pretty good. They almost beat Houston, who's right now the hottest team in the league, right? A last-minute play. Week 1, they were pretty close. It was little things, and they're putting it together right now, and they've won 3 in a row. 3 things you need to know. Turnovers. You're never going to win the game when you're -3 in turnovers. It's as simple as that. He had 3 interceptions. Both quarterbacks were very bad, or plain, I guess. As you see, the receivers, Henny had a pretty decent game with 8 catches on 11 targets, 103 yards. Matty Siebert, and I said this at the beginning of the year, Matty Siebert is a big play guy. And as you can see, 3 catches, 49 yards, and he had a 33-yard game. The other stat to know is the rushing. The rushing is bad. It's really bad. Look at the leading rushers for the team. Bailey Gaither. Bailey Gaither. Do we know anything about Bailey Gaither? Oh yeah, he's a wide receiver. Madre London, 2.8 yards per carry. You're not going to win like that. Dwayne Gary had only got 2 shots, but his long was an 8. So that means his other one was a 0. So 50% of the time, it was not good. James Morgan scrambled for 8 yards. Troy Williams only had 4 carries for 7 yards. He's been our leading rusher all year, especially as the team has gotten better. Trey Walker, another receiver. Garrett Groshek, your captain on offense, your running back, 1 carry for 2 yards. I understand the second half, they did not really run the ball a ton. But when your rushing stats continue to look like this every single week, you're not going to win. It's as simple as that. If you look at the teams that are successful in this league, they run the ball. I know everyone loves the spread and the passing. When were the Breakers the best? They were able to run the ball with West Hills. The Gamblers, they're able to run the ball with Mark Thompson. The Maulers need to pick up the pace with this running game. It's as simple as that. So, Hammer Time Player of the Week. I know Tez won the Player of the Week. From what I understand, he should have won it by 2 votes. Whatever, he gets an award. But I think Boogie had the best game. Tez was all over the field and got a ton of tackles, and he's absolutely deserving. And if I picked him, it would have been a surprise. But I like to point out some guys that aren't getting the national love 100% of the time. But Boogie's season has been solid. 8 tackles, 6 solo as a DT, 2 tackles for loss and a sack. He was all over the field. He's been consistently doing this. If you remember in the Stars game, he's the one that caused the fumble, and he started doing his little dance. Boogie's deserving. He had a solid game against the Showboats and looks to build on his second performance against the Philadelphia Stars. Flames passing offense was 3 out of 10. We already talked about it. It was bad. Rushing offense was 2 out of 10. We already talked about it. It was bad. So if you put the 2 offensive scores against each together, they got 5 out of 20. It was bad. Probably the worst performance of the year, and that includes the New Jersey New Orleans game. The offense just seemed out of sync. I just don't. The momentum was building so much for the offense. They took a big step back. The Boats defense is pretty good, though. I will give them that. Defense, 7 out of 10 is just an average for them. They're consistently pretty good. They get a tougher grade. It's tougher for them. They came off the perfect 10, right? Um, it's just a tougher grade. You have to grade them tougher. They did pretty good. They're still the best defense in the league, and I don't think anyone questions that. Special teams, 4 out of 10. The kick 6 was a game killer. Missing the field goal, and then can't stop Derek Dillon. Probably the worst game for the special teams overall. Was it terrible? They're almost like the defense. You expect greatness all the time. So with them getting 4 out of 10, it's because they had a bad game, and it's going to happen. But a couple moves this week for the Maulers. I'm recording this on Wednesday morning. The Maulers signed Fernando Jordan from Southeastern Louisiana. That's now the third. C.J. Turner, Xavier Lewis, and Fernando Jordan are all from Southeastern Louisiana. The ties. Jaron Horton was on the staff at one point. And then they signed the offensive tackle from the Stars, Leon Johnson, which is interesting pickup for this week. Will he be able to give some insight of how they want to do this and how they're doing it the last couple weeks? Because their offensive line has gotten better. The offense might not have generated, but we'll get to it. They released Charles Baldwin, a friend of the show. He came on, and they released Eric Burrell. Eric Burrell seems to be a victim of the number game because you're playing safety, and right now I would say Eli Walker is one of the better safeties in the league. Tarp and Torden have already established themselves as pretty good. Xavier Lewis and Tyson Graham are there. Eric Burrell just a victim of the number. But that's another draft pick for the Maulers coming through to the team. Week 7 against the Stars in Canton, 9 p.m. Nice 9 p.m. start for the Black and Gold. 2 keys of the game: stop the bleeding, and it's a must-win. The offense needs to perform and needs to perform well, and it needs to perform right now. It cannot be that they take 3 quarters and rely on the defense to keep them in this game. The offense needs to be the aggressor on this one, and the must-win. It's a must-win for them. If they lose this game, they go to 2-5, while the Stars are 4-3. If they win this game, they control their own destiny over the Stars, especially because now they got 2-0, so they can end up with the same record. This is a must-win game for the Maulers, and if maybe their biggest game of the season is this one. And I think going forward, I might say that every single week, as long as they keep winning and not fading out. Who to prep for? Adam Rodriguez, 19 tackles, 3 sacks. He had a great game against us in week 1. I will always remember the play that he was in on the offensive, or in almost hitting Troy Williams. I think it was Troy. And he runs 10 yards down the field and gets the fumble on C.J. Turner when the game was close. And Rodriguez has a very high motor. I know he only has 9 tackles. He is 19 tackles. He is a D end, but he just got a very high motor and definitely someone to watch out for. Another one is Matt Colburn. We cannot let them establish the run. Last time it was 18 yards for 18 carries as a team. The Maulers, need to lock in on that run game. That's Olive, that's Boogie, that's Von Taylor, that's Nasir Player, that's Malcolm Howard, that's the linebackers, Tezin Foster, Dale Warren. They need to come up and they need to establish themselves as enforcers and make that offensive line pass block for a long time and get to the quarterback and get back to the special recipe that is known as the Mauler defense. Hammer Finder of the week, Mark Gilbert. I think he's going to be on Corey Coleman. If he's not, if he's just switching off, I think the corners need to be strong. Like I said about Boogie and Olive and the defensive line and the linebackers, they need to control the rushing game. But I really believe that they cannot let Cookus get on a roll and get confidence. He seems a little shaky, especially since the Maulers game. Yes, they've won 3 games in a row, but it's more to do with that defense and the special teams. Remember, Luis Aguilar won a game for them, right, with 8 field goals. This past week, they didn't score They haven't scored touchdown in like 2 games. The defense needs to continue to do that. The other guy's Eli Walker. I just wanted to put him out here because this guy's all over the field and plays well. And I think he's completely underrated. And I think Eli Walker deserves a lot of credit. And as the second safety, extra, he's everywhere. He's jack of all trades. So is Bryce and so is Tarp. But Eli Walker just needs a little recognition. And the last one is Troy Williams. And I even made his picture a little bit bigger. This is a big game for Troy. Troy was building something since the Philadelphia game in week 3 and was building, and it seemed like it kept getting better and better and better. Now it's recovery. He needs to perform this week and recover from that terrible, terrible game last week. 4 things. This is the segment where I create 4 things that we need to. I go into my where I get these pictures and I just type the word in the first thing that comes back. Sorry for the little stutter there. I was remembering on that 4th one or 3rd one. We'll start with health. You got to recover. This is the time. The ladies in the bed getting medical care. This is we've got to recover and we've got to walk out of the hospital today, and they need to execute today. And this game is the biggest game on the schedule. They need to. The second one is those rolled up towels. I typed up roll. We need to get on a roll. The offense needs to generate. They need to execute. The defense needs to continue to dominate. The special teams need to recover from last week. So we just need to get on a roll. The team needs to get on a roll. The second one is, or I'm going to go down to the donut and the broccoli, and I typed healthy. It was a little weird that the donut was on there. The team needs to remain healthy. It's pretty injury free, and so the team can make a run for these last 4 games. Like I said, this week's a must win, but guess what? They win this week, next week's a must win. Right? They win that week, the next week's a must win. You win that, it's playoff mode. Best thing is they do not leave the city of Canton until their season's over. Think about that. That is a huge, huge advantage for the teams that are in Canton. You could say all you want about how Michigan just lost 4 games in a row at home, but I'm telling you, it is more important to get it towards the end of the season when you're supposed to be at your strongest. You're supposed to be the most understanding. The last bowl with the chopsticks, it was eat. This team needs to eat. The defense needs to eat. The defensive line needs to eat. I really believe that Boogie and Olive are going to have a great game on Saturday. Without a doubt. I think they are the key. I remember 2 weeks ago, we were talking about how great the defensive line is. I think this is a game that they're going to put their stamp on as the best defensive line in the league again against the Philadelphia Stars. I believe that Reuben Foster will get kicked into a little different gear than he was last week. Tez has been performing well. He's probably a first-team all USFL. If you ask 95% of the people that probably would vote on it, this is definitely a time for the defense to eat and get going. That's it, guys. I know it's a little shorter episode. Not much to talk about when you get shut out, right? There's nothing to brag about. It just has to get better. The defense just has to get better. You know what I mean? The offense just has to get better. It's a continuous theme. But this week, it's good to see the Stars because, like I said, last year they were 1-score games, right? They were absolutely 1-score games, or they're close games, and they figured it out at the end. The last time, it seemed like the Maulers seemed to click in a little bit. I think they match up great with the Stars, and it's go time, and it's a huge week for the Black and Gold Hammers. But I want to thank you. Remember, new episodes. Leave your comments. Next week, I'm going to start a segment where I'm going to respond to some of your comments. So put down your comments. Even you Stallion fans that watch the show and leave comments and talk about how great the Stallions are on a Mauler show, whatever. New episodes 5 p.m. Eastern on Wednesdays. Dinner with Webb. Let's go Maulers, man. Hammer down, hammer up. Webb out.